Hello and welcome to another edition of Sound Bites for Immigration Success. Welcome to everybody and welcome to our contributor today, Ola. Welcome, Ola.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
We're doing this series for as an opportunity for you to meet your colleagues, to hear some of their challenges and their stories, how they're tackling them, and to listen to their pieces of advice that they're imparting. So without further ado, I'm going to turn to our professional immigration consultant that we have today. And I'm going to ask you, Ola, to please introduce yourself by your first and last name. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you decide to become an immigration consultant.
Thank you, Monica. My name is Olalekan Olasiyan. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I'm a member in good standing with the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants. I'm also a member of the Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants. My academic background, I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. I have a graduate diploma in Immigration and Citizenship Law from the Faculty of Law, Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. So for me, the reason why I got into this field was based on personal experience and having compassion and empathy for others who are coming behind me. For me, immigration or migrating to any other country is an emotional journey. It's a psychological journey. It drains people mentally and financially. And I discovered that for those who are not too savvy, they could actually make an honest mistake, and that honest mistake will cost them a lot. Probably most often times, if they are unlucky, could cost them not being able to apply to Canada for almost 5 years based on misrepresentation, right? And, based on case law, the honest mistake exception is very narrow, in which so many people might not be able to, claim that honest mistake. So for me, I felt instead of watching people, listening to people make that mistake, why don't I go for this training, learn about it, know the law, know the requirements, and help people to achieve their dream, in which I have achieved for myself and my family. So basically, the reason why I'm into this profession is to help others while at the same time satisfying my passion for helping others achieve their dream.
I love that. I love your passion and the fact that you've integrated your own experience as an immigrant coming to Canada and turning that into a way in that you can help people, but also appreciating the fact that you need to be educated and trained and gain experience in order to help others, through the difficulties of immigration. As you say, that definition of misrepresentation of innocent misrepresentation or honest misrepresentation is very narrow, and the average layperson would not understand it. So we're lucky to have people like you to take it to the next level and guide people through the tough journey of immigration. So I guess my next question is one I wanted to pose you to about your greatest challenge. Now, I know that you've just recently become an immigration consultant in February. So I imagine as you're starting off, there have been many challenges just in getting up and running. So what have been your challenges so far, your biggest challenge, and how have you tackled it, or how are you working to solve the biggest challenge that you perceive at this stage in your career?
Fantastic question. For me, I don't have one biggest challenge. I have like multiple challenges, right? And I'm lucky because I have a background in business administration, and I was an employer of labor back home in Nigeria. So I'm kind of used to starting off from scratch, right? So the challenges I have are initial takeoff capital, multitasking, and having an enabling environment for soundboarding, right? Because let me start with the first one, initial takeoff capital. right? For me, attending the Queen's University, I spent about almost $15,000 of tuition fees, not to talk of the textbooks and all other associated costs. And, so I've not recovered from that. So doing the license exams, and also getting ready after I got my letter of authority, I had to register my company and all that. So, and I'm still paying bills, right? So I'm having little expenditure. I'm making sure I'm minimizing my expenses. I'm working from home. I work remotely. So in order to eliminate the cost of getting an office, the cost of paying for a license. So I try my best to minimize my costs in every form that I can. Despite doing that, I'm still, I can't break even yet because the way I'm looking at it, maybe 2 years time or 3 years time, that's when a new licensee will be able to break even. And luckily enough, CAPIC has been so generous for some of us, for my cohorts, in which our registration fees, they give us discounts, and it was so awesome. In fact, for the conference that I attended, they gave me a super discount that, the amount I paid was very, very low. So I thank CAPIC for being there for us, So the initial takeoff capital, then multitasking. I have to do marketing. I have to do accounting. I have to be the administrative assistant. I have to be the receptionist. I have to, be the consultant at the same time. So it is not easy. There are times that I work beyond 8 hours, right? Because if I have a consultation, I have to do research, because every scenario, every narrative of clients, they're always different. Clients don't have the same narrative, so I have to dig deep into the laws and policies, and to make sure I give good advice to the clients, right? So it's not always easy. And I have 3 beautiful daughters who are always asking questions, and I have to answer their questions every time something is going on. So it's a lot, but one step at a time. So I gave myself an advice that, just take it easy, one step at a time, based on what leaders in the industry have advised me backstage, So the third one is the soundboarding. It's challenging because there are times, that you have a case at hand and you don't know who to call because you need superior advice, right? The confidence level, you're good at what you're doing because you're trained by the best of the industry. Anyone that goes through Queen's University, trust me, that person will be very sound, right? But you want to be sure that the advice you're giving is the right advice, because immigration law is a moving target. It's constantly changing. There are policies that comes up, and you want to be sure that, hey, am I saying the right thing to this person in order not to alter the person's life, right? So you need a senior colleague in which you want to ask questions, someone with more experience. But there are times that there's no one around for those of us who are starting by ourselves, right? And there are times that even on the CAPIC forum, there's a tendency for you that I hope I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to be asking a dumb question, right? That I hope other senior consultants will not be looking at me that I don't know my onions, or But you have to just get out of that and ask the question, reach out. So what I've been able to do is that I'm lucky enough to have colleagues in which we graduated from Queen's universities together, and we know ourselves that, okay, these are top-notch, top-level guys within the class. So we send messages to each other, and we crack the case element by element, and we come up with a solution, and we're confident that, okay, I'm on the right track. Then we give the advice, right? So those are the challenges. It's not easy to convert a consultation to a client, because the money, we had this expectation that the moment I get my license, I'll start making the money immediately. But unfortunately, starting the job, you have to do consultations. Some clients don't even understand the elements of initial consultation. It's strange. to so many people that, what do you mean by initial consultation? And why am I going to pay for initial consultation? What I want to know is how much it's going to cost me, how much are your fees? But, based on our training and, the code of professional conduct, there's a need for us to examine the circumstances of the clients, in order to determine the complexity of the case and, how much professional fees are going to be associated with it. But some clients don't understand that. So there's a need to be patient. There's a need to be understanding and, take it easy and one step at a time. And like I said before, a way to avoid that pressure is to start small and minimize your expenses. And, with that, you'll be able to survive until the time you break even.
Well, thank you very much for that detailed breakdown of the challenges. And you're really speaking from recent experience because you've just got your license 6 months ago, and I love the takeaways that you have as you're dealing with each of those challenges. And you're right, as especially starting off, that you're constantly multitasking and wearing all those hats, and it's figuring out the best balance. So I guess this leads me to my final question, and maybe you've already answered it. So let me phrase it in a different way. So what do you wish you had known 6 months ago before you got to where you are now?
Oh, oh wow. That's a big one. So what I wish I had known was I wish I had known that clients would not come that fast, right? I wish I had applied to work as an assistant in an immigration firm. Maybe while I was still in school, I should have probably switched industry before getting into studying immigration and citizenship law. So I would have had the opportunity to maintain a steady stream of income while building my competency in the industry. So I wish I knew that the entry requirements for most of the jobs that have been posted out there, they ask for 2 years experience, 3 years experience, and those of us who are new in the industry, we don't have that yet. So it's like, we are stranded, we're all alone, we have no choice than to keep pushing, within the context of our own company. So I wish I knew some of those facts out there, before I got my letter of authority. So I would have, been doing that, and any clients that I have would have been on a part-time basis, right? So,
So I want to follow that up on 2 points. You said you wished, I wasn't sure if, did you say you wish that you knew that the clients would come this fast, or that it would be harder to get clients?
I wish it would be harder to convert clients from prospective clients to actual
Okay.
clients and signing
Yeah.
retainer.
Okay. So you wish that you knew in advance that it's not quite as easy to get those clients to be paying customers. And you wished you maybe knew a little bit more about the industry prior to getting your license, so you could have a bit more perspective. And you didn't realize when you started off that, sort of where do you go next. But I do want to say that you're not alone. You're part of our family. You're part of the CAPIC family. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. We're doing this for our members, and any immigration consultant will have access to this. So really, the takeaways are that we hope people understand that they're not alone, and and take your takeaways that if they're thinking of entering the profession or just starting that, to do their due diligence, to understand that it's not always easy in the beginning, but as you say, minimize your expenses, take one day at a time, keep working, create a network around you so you have that soundboard, and that it'll come. So Ola, any final comments that you want to say to our audience?
So the final thing I want to say to the audience is, anyone who is coming into this profession, you are on the right track, you're doing the right thing. This is a very, very lovely profession. You get to be in an opportunity to meet new people. You get to be part of people's lives. you get to be able to contribute positively into the success of people's lives, and just be honest, be patient, and with those two key elements, honesty and patience, I think before you know, you have a lot of clients. Before you know, your name will get out there, and before you know, you'll be making money and being able to sleep well at night.
Well, and I guess that's the job of all consultants. You want to be able to help people honestly and ethically, and help make dreams come true, but also be able to pay yourself in the end. So Ola, I want to thank you for taking the time to share your experience and to tell us a little bit about yourself. I have every confidence in you as you progress through your career, and thank you for being part of our CAPIC family. So thank you to all of you in the audience. We hope you gained something from today and that you enjoyed meeting Ola. So we'll see you next time. And thanks again, Ola.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.